Zaldrizes buzdaris kosdau.
Now, there's been a bunch of rumors about House of the Dragon Season 2. In this video, in specific, I want to discuss some that I haven't really mentioned all too much. The Dragonseeds plot. Like, I talk about that picture that we have a lot, one I'm showing you right now, but I haven't actually discussed these images. They were sent to me over on Twitter just a few weeks ago. Please, before I jump into the contents of this video, if you enjoy my videos here on YouTube, do me a massive favor. It's the best thing you could ever do for me or anybody else you're a fan of here on YouTube. Subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel, and then also slap a like on this video. Like goal is going to be 420. Okay, so first things first. These images that I'm showing you right now, like I mentioned, were sent to me on Twitter. I'm sure they've been reposted by a bunch of people. But apparently, the information that I've been sent along with these images is that this is a scene where, you know, it happens in the books, but it's been added up, right? So initially, right after Blood and Cheese happens, Aegon sends Auric of the Kingsguard, whose twin Eric is on the side of the Blacks. So literally, you know, Auric sided for the Greens and Eric sided for the Blacks. Aegon comes up with the idea to send Auric in canon over to Dragonstone to, under the guise of him being his brother, and go and kill Rhaenyra while she's sleeping, right? So apparently that's going to be happening on the TV show, and this scene right here is actually a group of men that Aegon intentionally sends to go and make a distraction on Dragonstone so that Auric can sneak in. So the idea is that when Auric gets to Dragonstone, the group of men that go with him will travel to where Rhaenyra keeps her dragon at in the Dragon Mount and cause some sort of distraction so that her guards, right, one of them being Eric, will go and see what's happening, right? So Eric's job is to guard Rhaenyra at nighttime. So apparently, according to this leak, when that happens, this is when Auric will try to sneak in and kill Rhaenyra, but he's unaware that Eric didn't actually go and check out what's happening at the Dragon Pit. And these images are the men that were sent by Aegon, and they get burned by Syrax or whatever dragon comes to greet them at the entrance, right? Now, there are also rumors, get this, there are rumors that one of the men that Aegon sends to Dragonstone along with Eric to go and kill Rhaenyra is Hugh Hammer. Right? The idea is that the show is setting up this massive betrayal that's going to eventually happen when Hugh Hammer switches sides, right, and joins the Greens alongside Ulf White, but the betrayal will be set up early on because Hugh Hammer is one of Aegon's supposed drinking buddies, and Aegon thinks that the dragons will be less likely to harm Hugh because of Hugh's Valyrian features. Now, I'm going to just pause right here. Take all of that with a grain of salt, because none of this is confirmed until it airs on our screens. We just so happen to have images to go along with this. Now, this person mentions that in the duel that happens between Eric and Auric, it's pretty evenly matched until Eric gains the upper hand by releasing his guard, and then as soon as Eric comes in to strike him, he clobbers him with his sword, right? And then this person also mentions that Hugh Hammer is sort of spared from the burning by one of the dragons. Like, basically, when the men go and try to attack Rhaenyra's mount and they're all burned, Hugh is allowed to escape because the dragon doesn't actually roast him, sort of like what happens with Jon Snow on the Iron Throne. I doubt that happens. There's ideas that supposedly the bastard for the TV show Hugh Hammer is going to be the secret child of Balon, who's the father of King Viserys and Daemon, right? And supposedly Hugh Hammer will be a rival for them because of that, right? But like I said, take this information with a grain of salt. Nothing's confirmed until it airs on our screens. Now, this is kind of interesting. They also mentioned that there's a scene where Silver Dennis, remember I just went through and compiled all the different dragon seeds that I hadn't talked about, but supposedly there's a scene with Silver Dennis is actually worse than what happens in the books. Like, I've mentioned this a bunch of times, but basically Silver Dennis is this dude who's supposedly descend from Maegor the Cruel. He shows up when the dragon seeds are called, and he's like, I've got Valyrian blood, I'm gonna go try, or better yet, I've got Targaryen blood, I'm gonna go try to claim a dragon. And when he does so, he tries to claim Sheepstealer, who's a wild dragon, so it's never been ridden, it's completely untamed, and Sheepstealer rips off his arm. And when that happens, obviously, Silver Dennis then falls to the ground writhing in pain, and then Cannibal, this other wild dragon who's got the name Cannibal for eating other dragons, shows up and then eats Silver Dennis and his son. Now, this person claims that the leaked images that I showed you earlier that were supposedly Aegon's men that he sent over to Dragonstone are actually a scene that's for when the dragon seeds are filmed in episode 7, and the people being burned are actually Silver Dennis' sons. And apparently, Sheepstealer doesn't rip off his arm, but instead bites him in half, so he immediately dies on the spot. And that bit of carnage is what attracts Cannibal to come out, who's in the Dragon Mount eating little babies, and then he comes out and burns the rest of Silver Dennis's men. There was also, and I don't know if this was just like tagging along, if the person was just kind of going crazy with their fan fiction leaks that they're sending me, but I'm putting it in the video for entertainment purposes. But they said apparently Silver Dennis will get dragged into the cave, right? And then his sons go rushing in after him, and that's when they get burned in these images right here. Now, the last couple of leak scenes that I want to mention for this video is that supposedly there is an idea that's being pushed in the writer's room. They haven't 100% confirmed it, but they'll kind of hint at it, is that Nettles will be a secret bastard of Corlys, and he's the one who ends up giving her the sheeps to start taming Sheepstealer. So basically, before Rhaenys' death in Rook's Rest, when that happens, this person said that there are scenes where Corlys spends a little bit of time with a handmaid, and that handmaid is secretly Nettles. And then once Rhaenys goes off and dies in battle, that's when Corlys reveals the truth of Nettles' lineage, and it's just in time for the Dragonseeds. He wants her to go and claim a dragon. I think my ADHD got the better of me in this video, so let me run through some of the events that may be potential leaked scenes for House of the Dragon Season 2 real quick before I wrap this video up, right? So apparently, according to one version, this image right here is this is a scene where Aegon's men sneak on a Dragonstone alongside Eric Cargill to create a distraction, and this is them getting roasted by Rhaenyra's dragon Syrax. Eric doesn't actually go out to find out what the distraction is, so instead he meets up with Eric in the hallway outside of Rhaenyra's chambers. The two of them fight pretty evenly until eventually Eric gets the upper hand, and then the two of them end up dying. Like, Eric dies immediately on the spot, and then Eric dies a couple days later from his wounds. And that's actually what happens in canon, so I don't know if this is true, but that's very similar to what happens in canon, minus the distraction. Like, Aegon decides to send Eric over to Dragonstone after Blood and Cheese under the guise of Eric, and he's like, his attempt is failed because Eric realizes what's happening, and the two of them fight to the death. Both of them die, right? Also, another thing that could be happening is a dragon, supposedly the dragon that burns these men allows Hugh Hammer to survive, and Hugh Hammer is one of Aegon's drinking buddies who may be a secret bastard of Balon. Like, it's never really supposed to be confirmed on the show. The idea is just sort of put into the watchers' heads from certain dialogue. There's also the idea that Silver Dennis, the scene with him and Sheepstealer and Cannibal, is actually worse than in the books. Apparently, Silver Dennis gets ripped in half by Sheepstealer and then dragged into a cave, and then his kids go and rush in after him, and then they get burned, and that's what's happening in this image. Also, and lastly, there's an idea that's being pushed around the writer's room to make Corlys the secret father of Nettles as opposed to Daemon, and supposedly she will be a handmaid that stayed in House Velaryon at Driftmark. Alright, I actually just released a 40-minute POV chapter breakdown for Sam 3 and A Storm of Swords the other day. Please go watch that. It's linked down below in the description. Also, thank you for watching this video. Please slap a like on it. Like goal is going to be 420. Big special shout out to all the executive producers of this video over on my Patreon at patreon.com/SirHuntsReviews. Those members are the North Musser member, Breanne Johnson, Destiny Mixed Queen Phillips 420, and Pebbles 83. Thank you all so much for watching. This has been Sir Hunt's Reviews. I haven't done that in a while.